because we have the internet now, we could say, okay, there's like a group of people on the same wavelength, and I really hope that Metamoderna and Hanzi is going to give us, that shared language. I see that's our prime objective, because like people somehow just jive, they tell us that, I wish I could have said that, and if I had the words, like you gave me the words to say the things that I was feeling. Yeah, all right, it's because yes, for some reason you're just gravitating towards metamodernism without knowing it. We are trying to provide you a language. And I think that has worked right now. We have people using the same language. You don't need to explain. And we have found each other. Like our network is expanding every day. So next step is like, what do we do? Because it's just like, all right, then we sit here and have a talk, or people join one of my courses, and then we sit there, the group or in the forum, and then you walk back, and then you are like, again, the only metamodernist in the village. We kind of like need more than just meeting online. Yeah. I don't think that metamodernism is going to be, at this particular geographical location, like, it's not going to be like San Francisco in the cities, 60s, or like the Frankfurter school at that university campus. Those days are gone, these things are always going to emerge online, but we need to meet, and we need to meet at the event. Yeah. That there needs to be events, metamodern events, where metamodernists can meet and mingle, and from there, real stuff can emerge. And then we need like little hubs, little, we could say like clubhouses, monasteries, whatever, where that are places for metamodernists to meet. And I'm impatient. I would really like to see that, because it's also, why was I bored? Okay, I just turned 40. And like 10 years ago, I was a young man. I think, wow, we have these brilliant ideas. Let's go out there and change the world. We tried to create a political, but like nothing worked. Like people just didn't understand. And only now, 10 years after, we have achieved what we thought would take half an hour. Yeah, that just people to understand what the fuck we're talking about. We thought we could just like say these things, and then people understand it, and then we could like start acting. But now it feels like people are getting it, and now we need to act, or maybe we need to meet. We need to order. We need to build up a metamodern culture. And it's also like, if you've been at one of my courses, or if you're going to read the next books, like what I'm saying is that art is always first. Art is always first. If you're looking for the first instances of a new emerging meme, always go to the art world. Like think about it. What we today call modern art, it's postmodern art. Like look at Picasso. It's not modern art. It's as postmodern as it gets. And Picasso, that was like more than 100 years ago. Yeah, that's like in the late 19th century. That's when postmodernism emerged in the art world. Only later did it spill over in like to social change and society and politics and so on. And it's the same with the modern meme. When did it emerge? Well, it emerged in Renaissance Italy, and in Flanders, in the Netherlands, where suddenly we went from having these kind of like 2D children drawing in art to suddenly there was perspective and it was photorealistic. Yeah, suddenly that happened something. That's like the most modern art that is. When you try to make like a one-on-one representation of reality, correct, that it's like that's when modernity emerged, and that was like in the art world. So metamodernism is not going to emerge as a social movement. Yeah, like right now, postmodernism is just spilling over into politics. Like the world is just becoming postmodern right now.
Yeah.
So logically, we can't go out there and then start, okay, now we're going to make it meta-modern. No, yeah, you can help the homos a little bit on your way. But if you want something distinctly meta-modern, it has to happen in the art world, because art is always first. So we have actually just applied for some money for an arts festival in Lund, in Sweden, like in our old university town. And our idea is basically, the really good thing is that, Lund, it's more like a university with a city than the other way around. Okay. And at the summer, like the whole city is just deserted because like all the students are away, And we imagine that we just take over. There are all these like empty spaces. And then we create a meta-modern art world. We invite all the meta-modernists, and then we pay to get like the coolest artists, and we create kind of imagine kind of like an adult urban burn, right? Instead of, like if you take like Burning Man, it's kind of like, burning something, like burning the whole thing down to the ground, and at the end, it's like the ultimate deconstruction. Yeah, we want something more. Like we want something build up something, and something that we don't need to decompress from like for a month afterwards. Like we don't want to create this like temporary utopia. So what we imagine is that we create these events, and art should be at the center. Not boring talks where people they show PowerPoint presentations and talk about stage theories. No. Metamodernism needs to be visceral. It needs to be felt. It's also metamodernism. Like I think the aesthetics that we should strive towards is like solar punk. Yeah, like because often you try to explain metamodernism, but like most people don't understand what you're talking about. Okay, you show them like, okay, just Google solar punk. They understand immediately. Like solar punk is this harmonious combination of high tech, and sustainability and human thriving. It's just look at a picture of solar punk and you're just like, that's where I want to go.
I'm Googling it. Yeah, I've seen, I think there was stuff like this in Singapore. Like they have a lot of stuff like this. Yeah.
Oh, you should read Hanzi's latest post, because we need. This is the dangerous thing. Yeah, the fascists, they've always had really good taste. Yeah, social democrats, communists, not so much, because the fascists and the authoritarians, they understand the power of aesthetics. Yeah, if you Singapore, and you also see like Dubai, and you also have like in Saudi Arabia, they have like the Stripe, this like solar punk sustainable city. They are like hijacking this aesthetics because they know that this is the aesthetics that speaks to the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of people in the 21st century. But we do not want to live in an authoritarian, paternalistic regime like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, or Singapore. Yeah, and that's not what solar punk is. Solar punk is not bourgeois dictatorship where people should just mind their own business and go to their jobs and shut up. So we need to reclaim solar punk from these regimes. Yeah, and also like and also maybe rebel against this like very polished, very bourgeois, very slick solar punk aesthetics. But I imagine that we need to create the event, because we're not going to have a city or a place that's going to be meta-modern anytime soon. Yeah, like the swarm. We're also talking about this, the socialists, they had the international. Okay, the meta-modernists should have the transnational. Like we should cross borders, and we should create this swarm that doesn't care about, okay, is it in my country or someone else's? Is something meta-modern happening in some place somewhere on Earth, and then we should all swarm there, support that initiative, move on to the next. Yeah. So metamodernism is not going to be in a single locations. It's going to like swarm from event and event, and then we're going to have these. Like I'm also thinking about a bit like the World Fair back in the 19th century. That was basically a shopping window for modernity. That was like what the World Fair, like building the Eiffel Tower or the Crystal Palace, like, look, this is what modernity can do, all you post-Forskins out there. And I'm imagining that this Metamodern Art Festival solar punkish event should be the same. It should be a window to the world showing this is what metamodernism can do, and you're just feeling it. It's just like with the Eiffel Tower. You don't understand it, you just feel it, that, whoa, like that is like what engineering and steel can do. Okay, yeah. And we should do the same. And also it should work, as these like yearly or maybe monthly conventions where metamodernists can meet, mingle, and create cooperation, organize themselves. Yeah.